Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? Today we're taking a first look at Bloomburrow Spirits, and we're going to be playing a brand new card. This one is called Mockingbird. So while Mockingbird's not a spirit, it is a card that I think can help out spirits, and it can help out spirits in more than one way. So we'll be showcasing 2 matches of the Curious Obsession build of Azorius Spirits and 2 matches of the mid-range build of Azorius Spirits, because I think Mockingbird does effective but different jobs in both. So for anybody who hasn't actually read this card yet, what it is X and a blue for a 1/1 flyer. That's just what you get at base. And when it enters the battlefield, it can enter as a copy of any creature, yours or theirs, that's already on the table with cost X or less, where X is the total number of mana you've paid for this thing. So if you pay 1 and a blue, a total of 2, you get a 2-drop. So it works a lot like Prismatic Ending, not like Fireball. So that'll probably end up being relevant in some games. But our primary things here are going to be in the Curious Obsession build of Spirits, we really want Mockingbird as a playable thing that is a 1-drop so that you can put a Curious Obsession on it if need be. Those extra points of redundancy are things that Spirits players have been trying to achieve for years between Ascendant Spirit in Mono Blue Spirits and cards like Lantern Bearer in Azorius Spirits. Lantern Bearer, of course, sucks ass as a magic card, so we're not still playing it. But Mockingbird has some real potential, so we're going to try it out here. In the mid-range version of Spirits, Mockingbird does 2 different things for us. First, it just is an additional 1-drop that can attack a card like Invasion of Gobakhan relatively early. And if you're still playing cards like Smuggler's Copter, it's a 1-mana 1/1 that can crew the copter just fine. Later on in the game, you get to copy things like Supreme Phantom, and in a real pinch, you can get a Skyclave Apparition. But it's even better than that. When you pay 3 mana to copy a Skyclave Apparition with Mockingbird, remember the Mockingbird text says that Mockingbird still has flying. So not only do you get a Skyclave Apparition, you get a flying Skyclave Apparition. And that's really been our only complaint about the card for years. So Mockingbird isn't necessarily trying to do that job all of the time, but when it does, it should do so spectacularly. Anyway, that's going to be everything that's happening here, and you can find both of the deck lists for today's gameplay right in the video description. Speaking of, let's get to that gameplay. See you there. Today's video brought to you by FusionGamingOnline.com, your one-stop shop for all your gaming needs. All right, welcome to round 1, and look at God. All right, so obviously the Supreme Phantom here doesn't necessarily play nice with the Mockingbird, and I would much rather have like a Spell Pierce than this a Darker Wastes. But look at the redundancy already doing the Lord's work, right? Like we have a 1-drop into Curious Obsession that we would not have had if we're playing just the staple 8 1-drops. Instead, our 9th and 10th 1-drops are already paying dividends with our very first hand. So mission accomplished, I guess. So let's go ahead and play the Seachrome Coast, and I will play the Mockingbird. Now let's see if it gets fatal pushed by this swamp, or if this actually manages to survive. If it does manage to survive, then clearly we're going to be pretty happy when we get to untap with this. Or we can simply hold off on No More Lies and just go No More Lies on turn 2, turn 3, Curious Obsession plus No More Lies if need be. So we have a lot of avenues to possible victory here. So Demolition Field also hints that they're playing some kind of control deck, which Waste Not definitely signifies here. So I think I actually will be sticking with that plan that I wanted to the first time in because I want to not worry about something like Liliana of the Veil absolutely fucking up my day, right? So like if I were to CO here, I'm not only wasting a mana, that's a good thing to not have to deal with. All right, yeah, let's not deal with that. Fuck out my face. So here, if they want to fatal push Mockingbird, they can do so, but it looks like that's not what's going to happen. So I want to play Mutavault. And this is actually going to be a little bit hard if there is a fatal push here and they've just been sandbagging for a couple of turns. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a chance to resolve it. And it looks like they just didn't have it. Nice. All right. I love that for us. So the island is absolutely not optimal by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, I'll take it. So let's see what happens from here. If I get to untap with this Mutavault, I do also have the ability to protect it with Rattle Chains too, so that'll be a thing to know about. But it looks like there's the Fatal Push, so I guess I'm just going to complain about that for a turn. It is what it is. We tried. There's a second Bankbuster. Don't love that for us. And I want to just play. Oh, that's good. All right. So I'm going to play my basic island and pass. So this way I can spell Queller if they actually want to cast something rather than simply holding for this. And that, I guess, is a something. Do I care about the second Waste Knot? I think, honestly, not really. Like, if I'm not doing anything about the first one, then why do I care about the second one? But I am going to play my Spell Queller here since they don't have the mana for Field of Ruin. I do want to establish a threat on the table. And if they have exactly Fatal Push, it doesn't do anything to this. If they have something else, then so be it. And a Spell Pierce is a little bit late. I would have really loved to Spell Pierce this Reckoner Bankbuster, but I suppose it is what it is. So let's go ahead, play a friend here, and I'm going to Supreme Phantom up. Remember, I do still have the ability to protect my Mutavault with Rattle Chains. So we're not exactly in safe territory yet, though. Like, I am still, do I care about this? Yeah, all right. I'll use my Spell Pierce. I'm honestly mostly doing that because I don't have expectations for Spell Pierce continuing to be good. That's almost fine, actually. It's not optimal, but that's okay. So if I just play Rattle Chains, that's what? A 2-turn clock. I'm doing exactly 7, and they have 4 life that they can gain. So playing this doesn't actually erase a turn, so I'm just gonna draw my card. Oh, that's really good. So I get to make another Supreme Phantom here. So I'm going to make X as 1, so I'm paying 2 total mana. I could have made one of these as well, but I honestly think that Supreme Phantom might serve me a little better here. So I'm going to go ahead, do my 6. They go down to 8, up to 10, up to 12 with the Reckoner Bankbuster draw as well. And that is not enough to survive all of this plus either Mutavault or Rattle Chains. So I'm just going to play this tapped and pass. Another important thing here is also the fact that if they do decide to Field of Ruin the Mutavault, remember I do still have Rattle Chains up and active for that. So Go Blank isn't going to do anything here since I do have a card, and they don't have a way to make both mana and a removal spell with a draw here. So we've just won. Like, we're good on board. They can attack us, we don't care. They can even draw a card and go to 12. We still have exactly lethal up here. So if friend opponent can count, they know they are dead. All right, so we're going to go ahead, take our draw step. That's fine. We're at 16. And unfortunately for our opponent, you are at 0, whether you draw a card or not. All right, so that was honestly kind of a beautiful game 1. If you're looking to be a fan of Mockingbird already, that was really good. So what do I want to do here? I think I do want Portable Holes rather than Brazen Bower. We saw the Waste Knot, of course, that's kind of whatever. But we also saw Reckoner Bankbuster, which can keep up on cards against us. I also think, do I want to make any other changes? I honestly think the answer is just no. Like, Brazen Borrower does a little bit of work against cards like Shieldred and stuff, but like most of the cards that you would bounce aren't really cards I want to bounce. Like, I don't want to bounce Reckoner Bankbuster because they can just like re-up the counters on it, and it's even better than before you bounced it. Skyclave Apparition seems okay, not super excellent against a mono black deck. They can remove this very easily. And Dust Animus doesn't really do the thing I want it to do. I don't want to be holding cards for later. I want to be using them on time. So yeah, that's actually, I'm just going to put in 2 Portable Holes and call it a day. So a thing that you'll notice is that this sideboard doesn't actually contain, well, lands if you ask this hand, but it doesn't contain any copies of, what am I thinking? Wedding Announcement. So that's a little annoying. Now here, decision time, I can Mockingbird, let it catch the business end of a Fatal Push, and then try for No More Lies / Rattle Chains later on. And I think I like that. So if this dies, so be it. If it doesn't die, I somehow draw a Curious Obsession, then I have a pretty sweet set of options there as well. So there's another Geistlight Snare. So the only downside to Geistlight Snare specifically here is that Mockingbird is not a spirit, so this does not cost 2, it costs 3. Granted, Mockingbird's only a 2 of here, so like it doesn't matter that much. Ooh, don't love that for me, but I am gonna No More Lies. There's not really an upside to letting them have this, so I'm not going to let them have that. So you can make your 3rd land drop in, I don't know, like Shieldred's Edict Me or something, but or you could not. That works as well. I do like it when you don't do things. So here I can cast Geistlight Snare for a full 3 mana on something important, or if nothing important happens, I can just like, I don't know, EOT Rattle Chains. That counts as something important. Our opponent's mulliganing, I want them to continue to stay mulliganed. This is a card that can unmulligan them. Okay, still don't really want the lands here, but exactly a 4th land is pretty good because now I can Rattle Chains plus Geistlight, so that part's nice. If they get rid of this, I just am not going to interact with that. They can Duress. I actually am going to use the Geistlight Snare because it's the same as letting Duress resolve, except my other 2 cards are still a mystery. So I'm not going to deploy Rattle Chains or anything cute. I'm just going to Duress that, or sorry, counter the Duress. And we draw a second Rattle Chains, which I don't super love, but I am going to play the land instead of holding it because if they cast like a go blank here, I don't want them to get value out of this Waste Not. So we're just going to do that, untap. That's actually not bad. So this is going to get them into 2/2 zombies because I'm going to be probably discarding a creature here. But the zombies are, well, landlubbers, I guess. So I don't really care about that too much. And I would rather they had... No, I would rather they had mana. That's fine. You can have 2 mana this turn. So let's see if they want to do anything with the 2 mana. They discard a Fatal Push. That's fine. So... Again, Mockingbird not being a spirit, I couldn't protect it with one of these Rattle Chains here. But if they do want to participate this turn, I get to Spell Quell or something and back it up. And that certainly counts as a something. So, I don't know, fuck off, I guess. Don't really want the lands. I'd love something like a CO. That'd be kind of lovely here. But honestly, if our opponent's draw steps are going to be this dry, I will take it. Extinction Event naming odd. Casting Go Blank again, that is completely fine. So what'll end up happening here is they cast a Go Blank. I'm going to respond to the Go Blank with the first Rattle Chains. If they decide to do anything about the first Rattle Chains, I can protect it with the second. So this is certainly not bad as far as plans go. So now let's see if this is going to get a text proof. It will. That's fine. So now I just get to deploy the other one, knowing that the first one was safe. Go Blank doesn't do anything because I don't care about my graveyard. And all right. Diabolical laugh time. Let's go. Not exactly what the doctor ordered, but I'd rather not discard it to a spell for Waste Not purposes. So this is, I guess, okay. Hopefully they don't just like have another extinction event and get to... that's fine. You get mana, or do you get a card? You get a card. Okay, a card is not fine. So hopefully they don't just like have a Fatal Push for this. If they Shieldred's Edict, obviously I can get rid of this. They play a second Gaia Reach Sanitarium. I didn't even realize that was legendary until now. All right. Oh, and a Spell Queller? Let's go. So now they go all the way down to 3. I have a Spell Queller in hand. I'm drawing into a Spectral Sailor as well. So Extinction Event or not, we're dead? Is that what I'm hearing? That looks like what I'm hearing. Waste Not, don't care. Shieldred, honestly don't care, but fuck it, I'll just Spell Queller it. It doesn't matter, like, they're dead. And they pack it up. So Mockingbird already looking fantastic. Let's move on to the next round. All right, second round here. We get to be on the play this time, and our hand is not bad, so I will rock with this. So Double Supreme Phantom isn't bad against most Gigantha things, assuming that they are, I don't know, filled with mountains and not swamps. But even if they're filled with swamps, like, this is still, like, mostly manageable here. So we get to Spell Pierce the... Oh, my Lanta. Yes, let us get away with this, please. Please, just let us get away with this. Mono Red is already tough enough. That is not a good sign. Wizard's Lightning, please don't. Don't mind if you don't. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to Supreme Phantom first to see if there is, in fact, a Wizard's Lightning coming for this one. And it looks like the answer is no, so I'm going to get to do this. And Wizard's Lightning does reduce the power down to 0 here, but if they have something else, then I'm cool. And it looks like they had something else. That'll be super handy for next turn, too. So, I don't know. If I can manage to somehow untap with all of this nonsense in play, that'd be fantastic. If they attack, I will absolutely not be blocking. You can even Monstrous Rage. It's fine. That's fine. I will take my 5. I will cry about it, and I will play another Supreme Phantom. Do what you got to do. That is scary. Won't lie. Play with fire, play with fire. Okay. Is there a land? There is. So they can cast one of these on one of these and then reduce the power, but they just took away their ability to do that. So, I don't know, get super dunked on now, I guess? All right. All right. The power of CO compels you. Let's draw a card. And that's not even bad either. So I am just going to chill with Rattle Chains. If they do something neat, I'm going to just get to block with Friend Rattle Chains. And if they don't do something neat, I think I'm cool with that too. So what happens here if... How much power does this grant? Monstrous Rage is +2/+0. Okay. Yeah, all right. I think I actually will block this time, though. This one's a little scary. Monstrous Rage number 2. Okay, you had that. That's fine. Because, like, since we're winning so hard right now, literally the only job I have is to not die. And these two Play with Fires can even go in, like, these directions. That's not quite the end of the world. It's just annoying. I can deal with annoying. Okay. So I'm going to let the first one of these rock, and then the second one's going to catch some hands. Okay. So, yes, you have your prowess. No, we're not doing anything about that, though. So I'll take, what, 2? Yeah. And now let's see if we can untap with a bunch of power and toughness in play. Oop. Oh, no. Are you killing my Rattlechains? That's fine. Rattlechains is the one I care about the least. Oh, that's really good for me. So we're going to go ahead and Mausoleum Wanderer here. That gets to play some defense. I will attack with these. They go down to 7. I get to draw, but I already have a Spell Queller. Ooh. Okay, I'll go to 11. Yeah. So now I have another Wanderer and a Spell Queller now. So, opponent, I guess show me your moves. Again, our only job is to not die, so I'm going to facilitate that with a double block here. Just in case these two cards are, I don't know what the perfects look like, but just in case they have them. Whatever the perfect hand looks like, I would like to not be a part of that. Play with Fire on one of these. That's honestly fine. I'm still looking at 4 damage total. And they're just buying Gigantha, so I'm just going to put in my Spell Queller and kill them. Right? Yeah, they're dead. And, yeah, let's go to game 2. So, no Mockingbird shenanigans that game, but I don't know, were they necessary? So, I want... Where's my invasions? I don't want Rest in Peace. What the hell was that? That was weird. And why are my Brazen Borrowers over here? The hell? Oh, you know what? I think Arena might be bugged. Okay. So what I think just happened is that Arena might have a bug going on where the sideboard does not reset after a match. I think that's what just happened. Oh, that was super weird. Okay. Well, enough complaining about weirdness. Let's just jump right back in. So now we have the portable holes, we have Dust Animus, and we wanted to put the Skyclave apparitions in too, even though those aren't like super stellar, right? Like solving a 1-mana problem with a 3-mana creature isn't necessarily the best, but a hand like this is certainly serviceable. It can slow them down just enough to the point where we actually get to play the game. And let's be real, that's all I'm asking for, because as long as we make it to our turn 5, I'm really happy about this Dust Animus being able to come into play as a 4/5 lifelinker. And if I can protect it with a Rattlechains, even better. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is, I guess. So, Swift Spear and Soulscar Mage, I think I'm actually just going to play a 2/3. Yeah, like, a non-lifelinking 2/3 is still a really good blocker, and they can just, like, cast both of these and then do something about this, or if their removal spell costs 2 mana, then maybe they actually don't even get to play both of these. If it's Rending Valley, then I was already not doing much about that. Wizard Lightning. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to take my 2. My Dust Animus is dead, but the Wizard Lightning is out of their hand. So, I don't know, important part accomplished, I guess. So I'm going to Portable Hole. That's going to target our friend Soulscar Mage. Hall of Storm Giants. Not exactly the most optimal turn 3 land, but I am happy to have drawn a land. Play with Fire, so I'm currently looking at 4 damage to the head. Don't love that. And light up the stage now. Okay, what do we got? Play with Fire and Mount. Wow, that was good for them. So now I am looking at 14, going down to 10. Oop, nope, it's getting worse. Monstrous Rage, yikers. All right, so I'm going all the way down to 6 here. So I do have the Brazen Borrowers that I can play with now. A land drop would have been super nice, but we didn't get there. So let's, I don't know, see what they want to do, I guess. Looks like I am going to Petty Theft one of this here. Don't love that play, obviously. Like, this thing's going to have haste when it comes back down, but I'm already at 6, so, you know, what can you do, right? Upside, this does get rid of the Monstrous Rage roll token, so that part's nice. At least it comes down as a 1/2 and not a 2/3. That certainly could have been worse. Wizard's Lightning. Okay, I guess that's worse. Raminap Runes is here too, so I really need to be on my P's and Q's. So I think I'm stuck Petty Thefting this again, even though that's certainly not optimal. And if they have really any burn spell here, I'm just dead on the spot. So let's see what they have. Okay, I'm dead. So our game 3, we get to be on the play this time, which is super nice. And on the play, do I want to change anything? Not particularly. Mono red is still really miserable, but we've got the Dust Animuses to help out. We've got the Portable Holes in here post-board. So, it's possible. And as seen by game 1, we can also just like run them over with Supreme Phantoms. That is just an option we have. Okay, so let's be on the play here, and our hand does not contain white mana. The Spell Pierce is good, Geistlight Snare is good, provided this lives. And if this doesn't live, I can try to draw a white land. Nah, this is way better. Even, like, it's slow, but I think this is a little bit better. Don't love how slow it is, though. So let's go ahead and play you, and I will make you just a 2/3 blocker. So if this eats a Wizard's Lightning, that's annoying, but it is what it is. I get to untap, potentially, the following turn with, like, Spell Queller or Geistlight Snare. If this somehow actually does something in combat, I'm alright with that. So yeah, let's just see what happens. So I think I'm supposed to just let that rock. If they cast a Monstrous Rage, I can untap and Skyclave it. We are Rending Volleying. That's fine. That's annoying, but okay. And there's the Monstrous Rage. So I take 5, I cry about that, but I get to untap, Skyclave this, and at the very least, go about my business if they kill it with like a Play with Fire or something. So let's get rid of this Lava Runner before it does too much damage to my head. And hopefully next turn, we're allowed to untap and participate. That'd be great. Lava Runner number 2. That one's got haste. Not doing much about that. And do I want to trade? No. I'm just going to let that rock. If they kill this with a spell, so be it. If they Monstrous Rage, then I get to potentially Mockingbird it. So there's another Monstrous Rage. I'm going down to 10. And a Soulscar Mage. Okay. Don't love that. It is what it is. So I am going to Mockingbird X's 2. And I want another Skyclave Apparition. Get rid of this second Lava Runner. I don't plan on blocking with this, so I may as well attack. And I guess a Swift Spear. Okay. So if this is not a spell, we're looking great. But it looks like it is a spell. Boo hiss. I think I'm supposed to make them use it. So if this is a removal spell on this Skyclave Apparition, I am super dead. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay. That sucks. We knew that was an option, and a Spell Pierce just ends me here. I think I'm going to try to Spell Queller as a blocker and see what happens. So if they draw something that is useful here, then it just sucks to be me. But if not, then we might actually get to come back with the power of Rattle Chains and Spell Pierce protecting my life total. So I will give myself a chance to do that. So I'm going to block the most dangerous creature, that being the Soulscar Mage. And, oh no, stop. Don't look at my Spell Queller. There's no card in your hand. Stop it. Oh god, a Monstrous Rage on the Swift Spear? Please don't. You already cast 2 of those. Play with Fire, making this a 0/1. Ugh, alright. And Otawara is not going to be good enough here. So, what do? I guess, what's the optimal scenario look like? We block one of these, we go to 1, we don't have a creature in hand to follow up with. So, that's okay. We're dead. But this matchup sucks with or without Mockingbird, so I'll just accept it, and it is what it is. Let's move to the next round. Mid-range. Be sure to check out additional content from myself, Nikachu, the Commander Cookout, and others at themanabase.com. Okay, so now we're playing the mid-range version of Spirits, and this hand isn't bad, so I don't know. We're going to keep this, and then just kind of see what happens, right? So I've got a couple of things that I can copy against a Rakdos pile of cards here. Skyclave Apparition, Supreme Phantom are both pretty good targets against removal piles. Wedding Announcement's probably going away thanks to this Thoughtseize anyway. So, I don't know. Let's see what happens. And a Hallowed Fountain. So I am actually just going to play one of these tapped. They don't need to see the fresh Hallowed Fountain, although I don't think that's how Arena works. I don't remember. Jadar Ghoulcaller. You make Decayed tokens, right? Yeah, okay. So what the hell does a Decayed token serve here? Are we just doing tribal zombie stuff or kindred zombie stuff? Or is this just like, I don't know, a miscellaneous good stuff card? Whatever, let's see what happens. All right, so I'm going to take my 3. Zombie goes away. They do not get a new one. Oh no, end of combat. They get a new one. Let's see if it's just like another Thoughtseize or what. It is another Thoughtseize. That really sucks, actually. So my Skyclave Apparition is going to go away now. No More Lies is not exactly the draw I want here. But, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Let's get a Jadar. This is not a card I've ever resolved before. So I'm going to get my own token. Meh. Oh, my Jadar flies. Haha. Oh no, I want to get rid of that. I want that. I want that instead. All right, so we're definitely not blocking. That's just, it is what it is. So next turn, ooh, do I want to trade Jadars? No shot. Because I am currently winning the life total race, so there's no reason for me to press buttons. Don't love that. Okay. So I am going to go ahead, get my attack in. There's no shot they block with Caustic Bronco. So they're going to go down to 11 in theory. But I would much rather just have an answer to this Bronco instead. Oh no, they can saddle this with this. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, they're going to lose life. All right. So let's see. Extinction event. They lost 4 life? Okay. So provided this No More Lies actually does a job here, that's really good for me because I get to counterspell something big here, untap, attack. That counts as something big. Get the fuck out of my face. So we might just win since we're, I guess, the turn up, even though our life total is looking a little precarious with all of these lands here. Like, I would much rather have a nice, lovely spell would be amazing. Thanks. They can saddle this too, but that gets a little precarious, right? Okay, so they're just going to attack me for, yep, they're going to attack me for 5, and they're going to lose the life from Bitter Triumph. Okay, so they go down to 2, so they got to get rid of this if they want to live. So they can just like Bitter Triumph, I guess, on one of these and discard this Extinction event that isn't really doing much, but they're going to Valky. Okay, so my hand is nothing, so that's kind of whatever. A Mockingbird. What does that do for me? A Mockingbird... I mean, I am definitely attacking with this and getting rid of Valky. That's just happening. Let's think about that. I mean, you have to attack because you can't block. So that's just whatever. It's not like you can block with the token. So that just is what it is. Okay. So now I can Mockingbird, copy the Caustic Bronco. All right. Well, that's what I'm going to try to do. And Howl Fountain comes into play tapped. And I get another token. So in theory, I can go ahead, block here. I am allowed to take this attack. I am not allowed to take all. A Bitter Triumph on one of these is rough, but if they don't leave back a blocker, they know I also do have the land for Hall of Storm Giants. So, I don't know, maybe our flooding actually works out? Although I will say I find it amusing that the only 2 creatures that I have are theirs, thanks to my 2 Mockingbirds. So at least we're like, you know, not doing straight nothing. A little sad they didn't lose life there, but I will just full on trade creatures, take my 2, cry about that, see if they have, I don't know, like a Bone Crusher Giant to finish my life total. Hopefully not. Please don't, if you don't mind. Oh, no Shieldred either. Okay, that's fine. That is also fine. We've done it. Hooray. All right, Hall of Storm Giants, get in there. Beep, beep. Look at Mockingbird winning games. All right. Copying Jadar was sweet. Okay, so against a Rakdos, I don't know, good stuff pile, I guess. I want Biza, I want both Takasia's Welcomes, I want this Invasion of Gobakan. Having seen Caustic Bronco and Jadar, do I care about Portable Hole? I think the answer is yes. Things that I do not really want here include what? Spell Queller seems pretty easy to kill for them. I also don't really want Supreme Phantom, seeing as we already saw copies of Extinction event, and I will take out 1 Mockingbird despite how good it was. Yeah, so the trouble with Mockingbird against these removal piles is that depending on a specific creature to be in play when you cast Mockingbird isn't necessarily the best, and being that we're on the draw here, it's going to be a little bit harder to attack my Invasion of Gobakons. So I think I'm just going to rock with a slow hand like this. If they double Thoughtseize like our Skyclaves or whatever, then I'm honestly mostly okay with that. Yeah, this is like the definition of slow and steady. So let's try to play like that. Okay. So a Wedding Announcement is close to a perfect draw, provided I draw the lands to help that out. Cards that I don't really care about here include what? My 3 Steps Ahead and Rattle Chains, I guess? Unlicensed Hearse. Why? Opponent, what do you think that's accomplishing? I don't give a fuck about my graveyard. Anyway, Invasion. Show me your moves. Ooh, that's neat. I care most about Kolaghan's Command, I guess? I don't actually care about any of these, but I guess I care most about the Kolaghan's Command. Yeah. So if they resolve Urbrask's Forge and I draw a land, then I'm already not too bothered because I can just untap Skyclave it. And if that is not what happens, then I don't know, I've got other cards, I guess. Like I've got the Rattle Chains. This is a real clock that I need to pay attention to, but it is not the most real clock by any stretch of the imagination. It just is a clock. Land. Thank you. Never didn't have it. Knew it was there the whole time. Nobody asked any questions. So I'm just going to like ram my wedding announcement down to the throat for a little bit here. And the tokens can threaten this invasion of Gobakhan. They can't kill it with the Kolaghan's command. And either of these are still going to catch the business end of a Skyclave apparition. This I don't really care about, especially seeing as I have the Catilda. So if they manage to kill Catilda later on, then that's okay-ish, seeing as I do have, like, I know they have this, but like, got all the rest of this. So I feel okay. If I manage to flip the invasion of Gobakhan first, then I will be happier about that as well. This can protect this in theory. That's going to be good later too. So I want to, do I just want to 3 steps ahead here and then hold up Rattle Chains? No, I don't want them drawing cards. Still not particularly worried about the Urbrask's Forge, but opponent not having extra cards in hand sounds nice. So we get another token, they can untap, and I really don't care if they cast one of these because I now have my Skyclave Apparition mana, so we have the 3rd land. The 3 damage is not really pressing me yet, so that's fine. I'm going to go to 14, and hopefully they don't just, like, I don't know, land Extinction Event. Do I even care about that? Not really, because they have to, like, make a choice here. Yeah, that's fine. So ideally, they just, like, cast a 4-drop, and I get to Skyclave it and kill this and flip my stuff. That's kind of the ideal scenario here. They cast a 4-drop. Sick. So since I don't have any cards in my graveyard, the fact that they can make... Oh, that's good. Not this turn, but it is good. The fact that they can make this a creature is actually irrelevant still. So I'm going to get rid of you. And here my choice is, do I want a token for wedding announcement, or do I want to draw a card more than that? I think I want another 2/2 token. No, I want cards. Because cards mean land drops, and land drops mean I can do 2 things in a turn versus this 6/6, which is going to be a life necessity pretty soon. So even if they play this big-ass Archfiend, I know full well next turn I can just, like, resolve this Catilda, provided they don't have a Thoughtseize for it now. And it's going to be a pretty big deal. And there's the land that I specifically asked for when considering whether to draw with this. So, hooray. So there's the Archfiend. I don't care about that yet. This I will care about soon, but I'm okay for now. So I'm going to take my 4, go to 8, cry about that. That's whatever. And then we get to do the untap. Mockingbird. That gets me a Skyclave Apparition on the Archfiend, and that's a 2-turn clock. Is that better than resolving a Catilda that's what, a 4/4? Yeah. Yes. I believe that is better. I would rather... X is 2. I want to pay a total of 3, X is 2, yes. So I want to Skyclave and get rid of this. I care about this more than this. Yes, this can be a 5/1 next turn. I'm okay with that. Attack. Okay, sick. Nice. All right, well, GG's opponent. Next round. Okay, we are on the draw, and we know they're Yorion, so this hand is honestly probably fine against Yorion. I would prefer this to be, like, really any 2-drop instead. No, this is way too slow. All right, get out of here. That actually is better. So a Darker Waste go away, and now I get to, like, 1/2 punch plus do something if I draw a card. So this seems a little high risk, high reward, but I honestly think it's better than just keeping a bunch of 3-drops and hoping for the best against a control list. So Meticulous Archive. So we are just playing against, what, regular blue-white control, I guess? All right, whatever. And you probably exist for the purposes of Leyline Binding? Nope, we're a full weird Jeskai deck. What the fuck? Okay. Sure? You don't make all lands all types, right? No. And there's the swamp, so we know that we are playing against Leyline Binding. Okay. That is not weird or even close to out of the ordinary. So instead of resolving my wedding announcement here, knowing that I can just catch the business end of a Leyline Binding next turn, actually, no, I will do that. So I want to get my value guaranteed out of that. And if they spend this turn Leyline Binding after playing the swamp, then I at least get to... Oh, dear. That makes green. This makes green. Oh, well, that's honestly a lot better than it could have been. So there's a Leyline Binding that we knew was coming at some point here. And I'm going to attack my Mausoleum Wanderer, just make a token. And between Rattle Chains, No More Lies, and Spell Queller, I still have a good enough hand. But that may not have been the smartest plan now. Path to the World Tree number 2, you can have that. I would much rather use my counter spells on things that, like, legitimately scare the shit out of me. Granted, them making land drops is scary, but it is not the scariest thing. So you can get rid of the path, get another 3-drop, and a 3-drop is a what? Aether Channeler to what? Bounce my wedding announcement? What are we doing here? We are bouncing wedding announcement. Sure, I guess. Untap. Supreme Phantom. That's a pretty good draw. So it's not good yet, seeing as I do want to make sure... Actually, no, this is fine, right? It's a little slow, but I think it's okay. I can also just choose to Supreme Phantom and resolve my Rattle Chains protecting the Supreme Phantom if they kill it with this. Nah, I think I'd just rather Wedding Announcement and get a token. Actually, no, I'm going to attack with all because I want to draw a card with Wedding Announcement. That feels a little better. So they can block one of these for free. If they want to trade with the other one, fine. Yeah, let's just resolve the Wedding Announcement. So this can backfire if they just like, you know, play another enchantment from hand next turn because I get to counter the Leyline Binding now. Omen of the Sea. Okay. Not doing anything about that. I know they can get another 3-drop next turn. But I'm just going to go ahead and end the turn, get my card draw here. The Skyclave is actually pretty good. It gets rid of this. But now let's see what big, nasty, scary thing comes. I am really worried about Leyline Binding turning into a fucking 7-drop, though. So I'm going to take this, go down to 12. No, 11. Oh, you're a 2-1. I thought that was a 1-1. Okay. So they could just trade this out for a 3-drop? Okay. Don't love that, but it happens. Let's see what our friend 3-drop is. Another Moonblessed Cleric. Okay. So that's probably just like another Leyline Binding then? Question mark. Up the Beanstalk. Hate that. Okay. It is what it is. So let's see. I want to just get in a regular old normal attack here. And I think I do want to Skyclave this Enigmatic Incarnation. That thing is kind of terrifying. No more lies? What? All right. I am going to contest that since if they pay the 3, I can Mausoleum Wanderer. Okay. No more lies was not an expected thing from them, but okay, happens. So their Incarnation is at least gone. And they can Leyline Binding my friend Skyclave, which honestly sucks. But I suppose it just is what it is at this point. And I do need to be a little worried about my life total, so that's also on the table. Oh, well, that's fine then. I actually thought they were going to get rid of my Skyclave, and I was a lot more worried about that. But they can... Oh, never mind, they just have to. I actually think we're losing this game pretty hard, so I'm just going to pack it up and keep it pushing. Okay, so at least... Oh, it did... What? I don't love this. Okay, this bug has got to stop. So I'm glad it didn't come up there, but we were pre-boarded against the mid-range deck for that last game. Oh, that is going to be such a pain to keep track of. At least I'm going first this time. This is better since I'm going first, but it's not good. Too many 3-drops, not enough 1 and 2 drops. But if I start drawing into the early things or counter spells, that'll be nice. So let's see what they want to do here. If they up the Beanstalk, I will Skyclave it rather than resolving this. After the World Tree, that I will not Skyclave. I'll just resolve my Wedding Announcement. They get their Swamp, so they have 1, 2, 3, not 4. Okay. Although that doesn't really change anything on my end, I guess. So let's get our value where we can. Moonblessed Cleric. Okay, so they're going to get a friend on top, probably Leyline Binding. They could also just get Incarnation. And it looks like they will get Incarnation. Okay. So I'm going to simply resolve my Mausoleum Wanderer and hold up Spell Queller mana and pass the turn with a couple of tokens in play. That seems okay. Like, I don't love the fact that after they cast this, they can just work on... Oh, that's super good for me, isn't it? So I'm just going to resolve this and get an attack for 2, hold up Spell Queller still. That seems good. So the only way this gets really fucked up is if they try to cast like a Supreme Verdict next turn, because then I'm basically forced to use the Spell Queller. No, I don't want to give them a token. I only want to attack with the 1. And now I get to make another token, flip my homies. They can cycle, that's whatever. But now my whole party's 2/2s, which trade with this. That seems pretty good for me. So now let's see what they want to do. Portable Hole. Gets rid of one of my Wanderers, but I otherwise don't care. Yeah, you got that. And it's not even an enchantment for this, so I super don't care. Up the Beanstalk is fucking annoying. But I think I would rather Skyclave that if I draw a land. Is that true? Yeah. I don't love that at all. We do draw the land. Okay, so that worked out. Oh no, I only have 2 blue sources total. Shit. Okay, well, that didn't work. So instead then, I'll simply attack and hold up Spell Queller mana that way. So you do this, take 8, go to 6. No, we are not taking 8 and going to 6. Okay. So we're getting rid of Mausoleum Wanderer, or... Oh, that's actually fine. Like, a little annoying, sure, but that could have been a lot worse. Going to 8, Portable Hole my Mausoleum Wanderer first, understood. That makes it a little easier for them to resolve their incarnation if they're going to cast it now, because now they can try to Portable Hole up the Beanstalk. Okay, so any 5+ drops are going to suck from here on out, understood. I think this is where I just kind of need to apply a little more pressure than I am, so let's get rid of Omen of the Sea in case they're digging for a specific out. Oh, well, you're late. Get my attacks in first. They're down to 3. I want to deny access to at least one of the cards where I can, I guess. Or do I want to just get rid of one of these Portable Holes and rescue my friend? Gain 2, draw 2, loses 2. 2 to a creature. Oh, I gotta get rid of that. That thing's scary as shit. Oh my god. All right. Wow, that would have fucked my day up. Omen of the Sea, that happens. So what's the scariest thing they can do? Resolve Incarnation. They can get a 7-drop, which is Atraxa. Or they can get a 3-drop, which might be Skyclave for this. So, I don't know. Atraxa's pretty scary, though. But it gives me back this. Does that matter? Probably not. It is, in fact, Atraxa. That's not great. Double Dovin's Veto, Tolsimir, Leyline Binding. Oh, man. Double unfortunate, because this matchup doesn't even suck by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually pretty good for us. But, sometimes you just kind of get bodied. And it looks like that is exactly what's happening here. So, let's get rid of Incarnation. Let's... Oh, what? Oh. We are definitely not attacking into that. This is, still really freaking rough, though. And they just have another Incarnation anyway. Into another Leyline Binding, so I am pretty comfortable packing this up. So we just kind of got dunked on by the Incarnation deck, which, oh man, I am not used to that. The Curious Obsession version of the Spirits almost can't lose to this deck, and the mid-range version is honestly quite soft, as we see. But whatever, GG's opponent. They did great. All right, so Arena is absolutely bugged as shit, which was kind of awful. But at least the gameplay itself was pretty authentic, minus exactly the exception of us accidentally being pre-boarded a couple of times. Luckily, that didn't actually come up into a disastrous thing, so we got some real gameplay to mention. Against the mono red deck as the Curious build, honestly, that was just predetermined to be awful. It is what it is. That matchup is absolute dog shit. And the fact that we got to win the game 1 is honestly pretty good for us. So about specifically the CL list, I do want to note that Dust Animus plus only 22 lands in a list can be a bit of a non-bow, so just kind of like be on your P's and Q's about that just being a thing that can happen to you sometimes, because you're really unlikely to make the 5 land drops with the Dust Animus with a 22 land list versus 24 like the mid-range list is. With that said, I do still really like Dust Animus. Could they have been Catilda plus 2 other spots? Yes, you know, dealer's choice there. As far as the mid-range list goes, yeah, sure, we got dunked on by the Incarnation deck, but Incarnation has been famously really good against mid-range piles for basically forever. That's kind of how they got their whole start. They tried to beat up on Rakdos mid-range. They were very, very successful in that matchup, and that's why the deck really kind of exists to this day in the first place. But we had a lot of the tools to be able to get there, right? Like we've got Disdainful Strokes in the board, we've got No More Lies in the main, we've got things like Skyclaves to help mitigate damage from Incarnations, but without having access to like the Geistlight Snares and like the additional Spell Pierces and the real you must kill this thing right the fuck now that a Curious Obsession presents on turn 2, you're not really harassing their life total as much as the CL build, so it's a lot worse. But we saw Mockingbird when we drew it. Holy shit, this card was good. Like, it immediately got to do a Curious Obsession bit. It also got to copy a Supreme Phantom when it mattered. We got to copy things like Skyclave Apparition when they mattered. It almost actually, no, not even almost, it did single-handedly win against the red-black deck because we got to copy things like the Jadar and keep up with the clock that they were presenting every turn. And even copying a Caustic Bronco wasn't really bad for us because all we needed in that scenario was a 2-2, and we got the 2-2. So Mockingbird itself was absolutely freaking excellent today, and I look forward to playing more with this card in the near future, particularly in the Curious Obsession build. This card was stellar for that deck. So yes, we played against Mono Red, and Mockingbird would not have helped that matchup at all. But otherwise, whew, kudos to Mockingbird, man. It did a thing. Anyway, that's going to be today's gameplay. I hope y'all really enjoyed everything that was happening between Mockingbird and, of course, the rest of the Spirit Shell. If you like what you're watching, make sure to click the like button, let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We just hit 2,000 subscribers this year, and I would love to see 2,000 more. But I'll see y'all on the next one.